This is First Coast Math Clinic with lesson number 5, transforming linear equations standard to slope-intercept form from Unit 9, writing linear equations. So the goal of this video is to write equations in slope-intercept form by rewriting linear equations in standard form. So just to review, standard form takes the form ax plus by equals c. So an example would be like 2x plus 3y equals 9. And we want to take this equation and write it in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So we basically want to get that y by itself and move everything that's not y from that left side to the right side. So to do this, we're going to review our literal equations. Now, I posted a couple of videos on literal equations. If you want to review literal equations, there's a link that's going to appear now as well as at the end of this video. But basically, we're using literal equations. Remember, literal equations are any equations that have multiple variables. So we've got two variables here, x and y. So we're going to use the same method we used to isolate variables on our literal equations to get this y by itself, or write our equations from standard form to slope-intercept form. So let's get into a couple examples. All right, so our first example is 2x plus 3y equals 9, and we want to write this in slope-intercept form. So again, our slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So we basically want to solve for y, or isolate y. So we want to get this y by itself. So let's think of like what's happening to that y. Remember, for our to get that y by itself, or when we worked out our literal equations, we did the build and undo. So what's happening to the y for our build? We're multiplying by 3, and then we're adding 2x. Our undo, so we want to start with the adding 2x. So we're going to subtract 2x, and then we're going to undo multiplying by 3. We're going to divide by 3. So let's go through these steps. Let's subtract 2x and subtract 2x. So the 2x's cancel out on the left. We get 3y equals negative 2x plus 9. Then I'm going to divide by 3. So divide by 3, divide by 3, and divide by 3. 3's cancel out on the left, so I'm left with just y equals negative 2/3 x plus 9 divided by 3 is 3, and we've got our equation in slope-intercept form. Again, following our build and our undo. Let's move on to the next example. All right, so for number 2, we've got negative 18 equals negative 2y plus 7x. So again, we want to isolate that y. We want to get the y by itself. So for our build, what's happening to the y? Well, first thing, we're multiplying by negative 2. Then we're going to add the 7x. For our undo, let's start with the adding 7x. Let's undo adding 7x and subtract 7x. Then undoing multiplying by negative 2, let's divide by negative 2. So I'm going to subtract 7x, subtract 7x. 7x's cancel out. So I get negative 18 minus 7x equals negative 2y. And then divide by negative 2. So I'm going to divide everything on the left and the right side by negative 2. The negative 2's cancel out on the right. Negative 18 divided by negative 2 is going to give us 9 minus, actually we have a negative divided by negative, so it's going to be positive 7 over 2x. So our y-intercept is the 9, and our slope is 7 over 2. So this is going to be our equation in slope-intercept form. All right, last one, negative 4y minus 5x equals 11. So our equation's in standard form. Let's write it in slope-intercept. So we want to get the y by itself. So what's happening with the y? For our build, we're going to multiply by negative 4. Now we're subtracting 5x. For our undo, let's undo subtracting 5x. So we're going to add 5x. So let's do that first. So plus 5x and plus 5x. So the 5x's cancel out. So I get negative 4y equals 11 plus 5x. Then let's undo multiplying by negative 4. And divide by negative 4. So let's divide by negative 4. So everything on the left, everything on the right. So the negative 4's cancel out. And I get y equals negative 11 over 4 minus 5 over 4x. So this is going to be our equation in slope-intercept form. All right. So we kind of used a little bit of what we know about literal equations using our build and undo to get our y value by itself. And again, I'll post a link for literal equations at the end of this video if you want to review working with literal equations. If you like this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. First Coast Math Clinic.